Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us and welcome back. Today's project, we're going to take this old dingy carpet out of the bedroom and replace it with the same stuff we use in the slide out. If you haven't seen that video, we'll put a link at the end of this one. We're going to add some wood just to spruce it up a little bit and carry the colors from the living room all the way into the bedroom. So stay tuned. Let's get it done. Alright, let's clear out all this stuff that we don't need because we're not camping. Be amazed how much stuff you collect over the years. Alright, what do we got here? Ah, yes, the other Starling. Gen 3. Yeah, this will take a little bit of time pulling all this thing, pull this apart, but we'll get it done. Alright, see if we can get this out in one piece. Save us a lot of time. And of course, it's stapled down. Alright, now that we have the frame out of here, we can get to this carpet a lot easier. So we're just going to cut out in sections, pull all the staples out of the floor, get rid of this little carpet. So this surface here, the flat surface, we're going to carpet. This vertical pieces all the way around here, that's going to be all wood. Get some nice pine board. Probably 1/4 inch or 3/8 or whatever we can get, something thin. It doesn't have to be huge. And then we'll paint it the same colors as trim so it all matches. It carries the whole color theme into the building, into the bedroom. So let's get this cut and get it out of here. Get it done. Now if you remember from my video I did in the slide out when we did the carpet, there was a million freaking staples in there because they just took their staple gun, they set it on full automatic, and they just went to town on it. That was kind of ridiculous. Probably should wear gloves. There's going to be a ton of staples in this thing. It's going to be painful. But the wood looks good. I don't see any rot, no stains. That's always a good thing. Alright everybody, now you can see that the carpet is out, and the fun part is going to be taking out a bazillion staples. It's ridiculous how many staples they put in here. There's absolutely zero need for that. So once the staples are out, we got everything cleaned up. What we're going to do is get some pine and get some on those vertical pieces all the way across in here. And in here, we're going to get some 1/4 inch pine. We're going to finish it off real nice and paint it so it matches this cabinet work here. So what we'll do is we'll come up, probably if I'm going to use a 1/4 inch, I'll probably come up 1/4 inch high. I'll put this piece down first and put this one in here. This will give me a surface to screw this into. So we'll do that all the way around, and we'll put the carpet down. Actually put the carpet down first and then put the wood on top of that. Then we'll paint it, and we'll take the old registers that were out of the floor or plastic. We were going to get new ones. We're going to get some nice looking fancy shiny wooden ones, but since we're going to be walking on them a lot, they'll probably break. So we'll repurpose the plastic ones that are in there. We'll sand them down and paint them, color match them so they look nice. So that's where we are so far. So we got all the staples out, everything's cleaned up, ready to go. Originally this carpet was all one piece. It came down these two horizontal edges here, it came off this side and on top. It was all one piece. We didn't want to put carpet on here. This is behind this plywood is the frame for the camper. So what we're gonna do is we made a box for this, box it in with some nice pine, and we're gonna stain it and poly it so it matches the vanity countertop, the kitchen chairs, and there's an end table in the living room. So we'll do that the same color so it carries it all in. We did change our mind. Originally we were going to take this pine board and we were going to run the carpet on the top of it and do that, finish it off. So it would actually look something like that. But we decided we didn't want to do that because it'd be too much wood, it'd be a little too dark for us. So we're going to run this carpet all the way down to the floor, put this one underneath, staple it all down, and then right up in here we're going to run some half round just to trim it out a little bit on this corner and down here in this corner. And we also took the original vents, they're plastic. They were kind of a brownish color, so we painted them so they match the carpet. So it looks pretty good. It's a good match. So the box for this, it took me a little while to make that, but I'll show you what it looks like. It's a pretty handy little thing. So that's all it is. We just made a nice box, cut it so it fits in here perfect. It goes all the way across like this. So of course the carpet will be down first, and then this will sit on top of the carpet. That's it. And then we'll glue this down with some liquid nail, and I have screws on top and bottom which will screw it right into the plywood to hold it in place. And then we'll stain this, we'll poly it, and that'll be the end of that project. So let's get this carpet nailed in first. Now this we're going to do at a later date, but let's get it done. Get this out of the way so we have room to work. So the pine board for the this frame that we boxed in is 3/4 inch. I couldn't get anything smaller. I wanted 1/4 inch or something smaller, but they just don't make it. So I couldn't find it. All right, now wherever the high traffic areas are, I put a couple extra staples just to keep everything from moving around. Like I said, the bed is going to take up most of this area, so there'll be very little traffic areas, or high traffic areas. Alright, now what we're going to do is curl this down. Actually put the other piece in here first, because that's going to go on top of it. Don't want that. So make sure the edges are nice and tight. You don't want to dig out staples and find out it's not right. Usually I let the carpet lay for a day or so just so it settles, but we got more weather coming, so we're gonna have to do this now. All right, that looks good. Looking good. This will be a nice, inexpensive upgrade. It'll look a lot better. It's definitely cheaper doing it yourself if you can. hold it down nice and tight. Try not to get the staple on your fingers, because boy, that was going to hurt. All right, let's do this bottom edge. Get that done. I should go right across the top, like this. Keep it nice and tight. If you're wondering what kind of staples I'm using, it's 18 gauge, 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch. That's all you need. Don't need anything huge. Alright, we'll put a couple in the middle, probably just 3 across. Over in this area is where you're going to be walking mostly. Let's get you guys up to speed on where we are. We got all the carpet done, cleaned up, ready to go. We have one box already in place. It's screwed in, glued in, and we have the holes patched. So we just have to wait for that to dry. So there's the box. So behind that box right there, all the way across, is the frame for the fifth wheel. So we have a bunch of screws in there because the plywood that you have to screw into is really thin. So between all those screws and the liquid nail we put down, that'll definitely hold it in place. So this is what it looks like on the other side, which we'll get to in a minute. But this plywood right here, up in here and here that you screw into, is really thin. So trying to get a screw in there to, to get bite enough wood to hold it in place is tough. Because right behind that brown thing, is the metal frame. So we put a bunch of screws just to, safety in numbers, I guess. And between that and the liquid nail, it'll work out good. So let's put in the second box. Get that going. So this is what it looks like on the unfinished side. Just flip it over. Slides right on top like this. Nice and tight. We'll glue it and screw it down and patch up the holes. Then we'll do 3 coats of poly after we stain all these holes. All those have to be filled and stained. And we'll do 3 coats of poly. We'll sand with 220 in between each coat, so it'll take about 3 days to get this done. And then we have some half round that's going to go in to finish it off. I'll show you where that is after. Alright, so let's get this going. Put a nice healthy bead of liquid nail on here. I don't ever plan on taking this off again. And I want to make sure it stays. I'm going to go on the inside of this, because that's going to go up against here. So we're going to use plenty of liquid nail because I don't want this thing to fall off. Liquid nail is fairly inexpensive. Put some in the corner. Alright, let's put this in place. Nice and easy. Keep the liquid nail off the carpet, off the walls. Nice and tight. There's not a whole lot of wood down here to bite onto, which is unfortunate. I got all these holes countersunk. So when I put the wood putty in there, you won't see any screw heads. Oh yeah, it's gonna work out nice. Yeah, nice addition. Kind of finishes off the room, makes it look a lot better than the carpet they had up in here. It was kind of cheesy. All right, next step is to drill and nail down this half round. We already put 3 coats of poly on here before we got to this point. For obvious reasons, it'd be too difficult to stain and poly next to the rug. So again, the plywood on this surface and down here is really thin, and we have sheet metal underneath for the underside of the trunk, and we got the frame going through here. So there's not a whole lot of space to put nails. So I had to take one of these nails, cut them down because they were too long. So what I'll do is I'll pre-drill so I don't split the wood. We'll just kind of put in the nails. It doesn't take much to hold these in. You can hear the sheet metal already. Take a nail punch, set it a little bit. That's it. Do the last one over here. Rinse and repeat for the other side of this thing. And we'll do the same for the bottom strip. And that will be done. That's it. We'll finish up this top strip here. Do the same thing in the bottom, down to the floor. And that part of the project is done. Well, after 4 days of waiting for poly to dry, finally, we got the last coat on today. We got our half round in. Everything's cleaned up and ready to go. So we're going to call this project done. Just got to put the bed frame and mattress in, but we're not going to show you that. It's pretty boring, and it's just 4 screws. No big deal. So let's have a look at, see what it looks like, and call this project finished. All right, so there's the box that we made. In here, or behind that, is the metal framework for the fifth wheel. And then this step here, there's framework in there. And the next one up, there's framework in there. So we got our half round on that level, and up there on that level, all the way across. It just gives it a little extra wood in between. It looks nice. That's all it's for, really. It doesn't serve any other purpose. You know, we got some nice transition pieces right in here. Just stained those oak. Of course, they stain a little different because it's oak and not pine. That's it. Got the other box over on that side. We repurposed the grill for the registers there and just spray painted them to match the carpet. It's actually a hammer paint. It's gray. That is done. Well, that is it, folks. I hope this project motivated you to restore what you have. It's a lot cheaper than spending thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a new trailer that you really don't need. Keep the one you have. It's already paid for. Hopefully upgrade it, make it look nicer, and you don't have to have a second mortgage. So again, if you see us on the road, we love talking to you guys. Just come over and say hey. Love to hear your travel stories, and we appreciate you 110%. Thank you. Happy camping.